when you guys picked up the car, what else was in the car that may not have been in the car when we inventoried it?
Well, you guys are aware of the smell in the car.
Well, I kind of tiptoe around that issue because I know it's a sensitive one.
Well, I just got to tell you what my feelings are. I don't like what how it smells. I'm being straight with you guys.
I'm sorry?
I don't like the smell in the car. I'm being straight with you guys.
We didn't like the smell either.
Right.
I'm being straight and honest. I just...
And we appreciate that, George. We won't share that with anyone.
Yeah, because that's a difficult topic for you.
It's tough. You know, stuff's got to come out. It's the way it is. I'm not going to hold back.
It's a very sensitive case, and it always is tough that if you end up going down that path of working a homicide case without a body, it's even tougher. I would like it to come just as fast as everybody else. However, it's not Walker, Texas Ranger, where you can go to the computer and get DNA and all that in 3 seconds. It doesn't work that way, and so we're going to do it by the book and do it right the first time.
We are taking your calls live out to Leonard Padilla, bounty hunter out of Sacramento, California, who first put the bond up for Mom Casey Anthony and has met extensively with the Anthony case investigators. Leonard, do you believe the family is geared up for a murder arrest?
I think they are living in a fictional world. As far as a murder arrest, they don't think it'll come about because they don't have a body. And as long as they can keep a body from being brought forth, they feel quite confident. Now, going back to the night of the 15th, when Casey and her mom, Cindy, got in that big row at the house, that's what started the whole problem. George wasn't home that night, and he didn't see her leave the next morning because Casey left that night with her child and spent that night out just on her phone, talking to Tony, talking to anybody to talk to her. So that's where the whole big predicament started. If they hadn't have been feeling guilty for having caused her to leave, we wouldn't be where we're at today. Cindy is lying because she caused her to leave that house that night, and she blames herself for the baby being dead. And she knows it, and George is the second biggest victim in this whole situation, and she knows it.
You know, I'm not convinced that the Anthonys truly believe the child is dead, Leonard.
Yes. They absolutely do. Cindy sat with myself and Rob.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Repeat.
They absolutely do, because Cindy sat with myself and Rob, Toby, and Miguel when we told her the baby is dead, and there was no reaction as far as denying it. She just didn't know what to do or where to go or how to handle it, but she knows the baby is dead.
Then why do they continue saying the child is in Puerto Rico or Mexico?
They have to get away from the truth. They can't live with the truth. Cindy should go back to the realization that she is the one that caused Casey to leave the house that night. If she would realize that, then
I disagree with you, Leonard. You don't make somebody else do something. Mom Casey Anthony was already leaving the house and shacking up with one guy after the next. Where she was keeping the child, I don't know. But her mother did not make her do these things. They may have had an argument, but she was acting on her own volition.
Cindy put her hands around Casey's throat and practically choked her out that night. It scared the hell out of Casey. It had never happened before.
Why?
Because of the money she stole from her parents. She was so upset about that she just could not control herself. And if you listen to George, he'll tell you he lives with a controlling woman and a controlling daughter.
Now, where did you get the information that she actually put her hands around Mom Casey's throat?
You can ask Casey's brother Lee. He'll tell you.
We are taking your calls live. Let's go out to Jane in New Hampshire. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Nancy. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, ma'am.
My question is regarding the nanny.
Yes.
Casey is the only person we know who has seen this woman. Why hasn't she been asked by the police to sit down with a sketch artist and to compose a picture of this woman to pass around to all the areas that Casey said that Zanny took Caylee and to the apartment complex where Zanny was supposedly living?
To our knowledge, Mike Brooks, has there been a composite of this Zenaida Gonzalez drawn?
No, Nancy, because there is no person. They've already talked to the Zenaida Gonzalez.
And how would that hinder the police investigation, Mike Brooks, if police put out a false composite based on some cockamamie story of Mom Casey Anthony's?
Well, She has not told the truth since day one.
No, but how would it hurt the investigation to put out such a sketch?
Well, you could be putting out a sketch of somebody who she's made up in her fictional mind, and if it matches someone very, very close, you know, you're going to get even more calls. You know, would it hurt anything? Probably not, but I think it's just a waste of time.
I think it would hurt if police absolutely do not believe it's true. Then when you go to trial, Mike Brooks, think ahead. Think ahead. Say that there is a trial in the future for murder, as the sheriff intimated today. Then you've got the defense saying, well, hey, as late as so-and-so, they believe that there was a Zenaida Gonzalez. They even put out a sketch for her.
We know there is no Zenaida Gonzalez, so, you know, as I said right at first, it's a waste of time.
And speaking of no Zenaida Gonzalez, to Drew Petramo with WDBO, Zenaida Gonzalez is on this witness list to say what?
Well, I mean, to say that there's not a Zenaida Gonzalez is not entirely true. You know, there's been a woman that his name is Zenaida Gonzalez that's been, finally she made an appearance on TV, and she's actually suing Casey Anthony for defamation because she says she has no idea who Casey is. She has no idea who Caylee is. They drug her into this. It's ruined her life. So there is a Zenaida Gonzalez, and I imagine that that's the person that they plan on interviewing come the trial.
She has actually filed a defamation lawsuit against mom Casey Anthony, saying it's ruined her life and her job potential. What about it, Alex Sanchez? Does she have a chance?
I think she does have a chance because she's put an innocent person in the public eye and basically has destroyed her opportunities for work or future relationships or future babysitting opportunities or whatever she does, and she was an innocent party. She has a perfect right to sue that
Well, there
lady.
are her hands. There she is. This is Zenaida Gonzalez suing mom Casey Anthony. What about it, Judy Che?
Case, if she gets a judgment and if there's ever any profits for the defendant, the criminal defendant in this case, she may be able to recover. But personally, I think the judgment is worthless if it's ever obtained.
But my question is, does she have a legal
I said yes.
You
yes.
did? Okay,
yes.
you were cut off at the beginning. Holly?
I agree, unfortunately, with the defense attorneys, which I hate to do. But I do think she has a great case. I mean, she was adamant about this. She put that woman's name out there. She kept saying it over and over. It's a distinctive name, Nancy. She has damaged her, and I think she's got a great case.
Also on this witness list, everybody, just released an 80-plus witness list by the state who is going to testify. They're all going to testify against mom Casey Anthony. We see on here Jesse Grund, Casey Anthony's ex-fiancé. What will he have to say at trial, Natisha Lance?
Well, one of the things that he will probably say, Nancy, is one of the things that he said in his statement, which is that Casey was a diabolical liar, and she was a chameleon. She would morph into something else every time that she was around a different guy. He said, for instance, that he liked the Yankees, so Casey started liking the Yankees, even though she hated the Yankees. So saying, depending on what crowd she was caught up in, she could end up doing certain things that might not be within her normal character.
I think also he will probably testify that mom Casey Anthony said he was the biological father of little Caylee, which turned out to be false. Everybody, we have also gotten our mitts on more police interrogation. Take a listen.
Casey pops in the door. I hear the garage door up, and here comes Casey in. I think I startled her sort of being there because my car was inside the garage. But she comes in, she says, "Hey, Dad, how you doing? I don't got too much time. Got to go back to work for a event." I said, "Wait a second." I said, "Where's Caylee? What's going on?" "Oh, she's staying with Zanny." And I said, "You know, we've been seeing the girl in over a week. You know, how's everything? We haven't talked to her. It's really nice to hear her little voice." "Dad, I don't got time for it. I got 10 minutes. I got to get back to work." On the 16th is when I actually saw Casey and Caylee together. They're both leaving with backpacks, and so my daughter said she was going to work, and she was taking Caylee to the nanny, to the babysitter. But I know it was 10 minutes to 1 because I was watching this Food Channel thing that I watched between noon and 1 o'clock. So I'm positive that I know for a doggone fact.